untuk waktu ini kita nak memberi fokus kepada laporan berkait dengan perusahaan sosial ataupun social enterprise. Kita nak melihat kepada bagaimana social enterprise ini sebenarnya mampu untuk mengubah dari segi kehidupan rakyat, melihat juga dari segi bagaimana ianya bakal memacu ekonomi juga, membantu untuk memacu ekonomi. Jadi untuk waktu ini kita nak bersama dengan Kuhan Pathy, di mana beliau merupakan co-founder Masala Wheels and Pepper Labs. Kuhan, thank you for being with us. Kuhan, what are some things mentioned in the social enterprise action framework that will benefit social enterprises? We know that Prime Minister has just announced or launched the framework just before Raya. Maybe we want to know more in terms of what does this mean to social enterprises and Malaysians, especially those in the B40 category. Kuhan.
All right. Hi, thank you. A very good morning. And also thanks to Astro AWANI, who has always been rallying behind social enterprises. And I think before I jump into that question, I would like to set a context of the social entrepreneurship ecosystem in Malaysia. So it started as early as 2015 when Malaysia launched the first Malaysian social enterprise blueprint. And at that point, there was an anchor agency or an implementing agency, which is Magic, which at a later stage was merged with TPM to be known as Meranti today. Now, they have played a very pivotal role, a very important role in developing this ecosystem from 2015 up to 2018, hand-holding the development of the first Malaysian social enterprise blueprint. And then in 2019, there was a guideline that was launched, which is called the Social Enterprise Accreditation Guideline. And this was under the leadership of MIDEC at that point of time. And then we had a gap between 2020 and 2021, which is now recently filled in by the Social Enterprise Action Framework, which was launched by the Prime Minister of Malaysia in the month of April. Now, what is there in this Social Enterprise Action Framework? So there's a lot of people who have been asking, what is there in this policy that would help to support the development of this ecosystem? And I would like to term this as an ecosystem and not just a very fragmented or a very localized movement, because this ecosystem is growing in scale. So there are three things that has been highlighted here, which is very important. The first one is in terms of financial and structural support. So the government acknowledges the role of social enterprises, not only in terms of economic contribution, but at the same time in terms of people and environment development. Yeah. So that is the first one, providing financial and structural support. The second one is that we have known from 2015 up to date, we have put in a lot of effort in terms of promoting social enterprises. So I think we are now moving from the awareness stage in terms of from the awareness to scale up phase right now. So they have put in a lot of content in terms of ecosystem development from market and also business expansion for these social enterprises. And last but not least, the third one is how do we rally stakeholders, both from public and also private entities, to actually support this ecosystem through a risk-sharing model. So these are the three main contexts that have been set in this framework. Mm-hmm. Now, to address the second point on B40 development, now social enterprises and also B40 communities, they come hand in hand. The good thing here is that social enterprises deliver impact very sustainably. So if we adopt a community just like us, for example, Masala Wheels, we work with very close with about 16 PPRs. And now these PPRs that we adopt, they are here for a long term. We are not here for a short term, but we are here for almost 6 to 7 years. And that's why we say social enterprises work on a very sustainable impact, which is long term. So now if this ecosystem or this social enterprise ecosystem grows, the impact towards the B40 community also grows. So in terms of poverty eradication and much more holistic development for the community.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more, what are the main challenges that social enterprises face in addressing the gaps of social and economic inequality in Malaysia?
Thank you. I think that's a really important question and a very pressing question at this point of time. Now, some of the challenges that we have seen in the past years is that the structural support. So of course, from 2015 up to 2021, we had an implementing agency. We had a coordinating agency, which was Magic, and who now finally has actually merged with TPM to become Ranti. So the structural support right now, there is a big gap. There's a huge gap. There is a policy, but who is going to handle and who is going to manage and who is going to implement this policy? That is one of the greatest challenges that we see for the ecosystem. The second one is that many social enterprises now are moving from an awareness stage to a scale-up stage. They can actually not only impact locally, but they can also impact regionally, and they also can step out globally. So how do we assist them to develop their market? How do we get them better outreach just beyond Malaysia? And of course, the third one is adopting innovation and technologies. I think that's one of the greatest challenges that we see in Malaysian social enterprises in terms of adopting innovation and technology to scale further. So if you can develop a model that is able to scale, then your expansion is much more faster. But it's not only much more faster in terms of revenue, it is also much more faster in social impact. So these are the three key challenges that we see in social enterprises.
Kuhan, referring to your answer just now, is the social enterprise action framework outlined sufficient to build a strong social enterprise industry for Malaysia to help alleviate social and economic inequality? If so, how? And also otherwise, what are some measures that can be taken to reduce social and economic inequality?
Thank you. I think it's a very critical question at this point of time, where many people have been talking about policy that has been launched over years, but we have seen that policies have actually lifted the ecosystems, and some of the policies have actually helped ecosystems to thrive. So if we were to say that in terms of the fundamentals, the ministry has done a great job in setting up a policy that is there. But at the same time, there are quick wins, or there are short-term goals that the ecosystem requires at this point of time and needs to be complemented with the policy. So today, I'm going to use this platform to actually put up 5 quick wins, or I like to say 5 spices, because we work a lot with spices. So 5 spices to make this a success. So what's next? The question from the ecosystem. So the first one is the accreditation. The accreditation has been put on hold for quite some time. Now, most of the budget, the yearly budgets, have been tied into the accreditation. Now, if the social enterprises are not moving in terms of their accreditation, it is very hard for them to actually get the perks or get the advantages that the accreditation offers. So that needs to be rolled out as soon as possible. It has been addressed very vividly in the action framework, but there is no details to it. So that is first thing, that it has to move out as soon as possible. The second one is the governance structure. Now, a robust governance structure is key to a success for a policy. Now, the policy is good in terms of strategies, but how are we going to achieve it? What are the milestones? What are the granular details? And what are the gaps that we are trying to implement here and among with the stakeholders? So that is the second one. Who is the implementing agency and who is the anchor agency for this social enterprise action framework? And the third one is the support of institutionalization or support of social movements, in the sense of setting up a very independent council or an SE council, where people from the, we can see representatives from the practitioner side, from the government side, and also from the intermediaries sitting down together to make this a success. So that's the top 3. And the other 2 is to ensure that there is actually enhancement to social procurement. There was a social procurement announced in the budget, 10 million last year and 20 million this year. It need to be further enhanced so that both public and private stakeholders can support social enterprises and indirectly support their impact. And last but not least, this is a rallying call for corporates to adopt social enterprises. Because if you adopt social enterprises, your ESG is also maintained, your ESG is also delivered sustainably, and at the same time, this will make the social enterprise action framework a success as well.